I still can't believe this game is real. Like, it's a collective fever dream between me, you, and Yuji Naka, game dev extraordinaire. An industry legend with a storied career. In that he was like a programmer who coded Sonic's physics and then got a whole bunch of large member clout up, out, and about that there Sega. Worked as a producer on Sonic 3 and Concols, oversaw development on just about all S-Team games up until 06 to at least some degree, and founded his own sub-studio in San Francisco where they made the adventure titles. He's defo an industry legend in his own right, and has deservedly joined the ranks of game dev folks people know by name. And yet, at the same time, he's also a bit of a trash god, isn't he? I mean, in Sonic Adventure, the moment you quit beating the path eats ass. Suppose you could say that that's sort of your own fault for messing about. The game certainly makes it clear to you what it wants you to do, after all, but even if you do something as minor as simply walking from time to time, it's very easy to start spotting how many of its levels are only barely hanging together off of bits of taped staples and rags without the physics or whatever this is, track the hog in the desired direction, or how the finer bits of geometry were not designed with precision in mind. On the other hand, though, look at how dummy, vibrant, and colorful this game is. Those lush, deep green fields, the shiny, reflective cars, the trademark sunny Sega blue skies, and these low-poly babes. And when the simulation doesn't break, it does make for a very fun and exciting game when it all comes together, with a satisfying synergy of art, music, and bonker balls level design boasting crazy loops and high speeds, and set pieces on wazoo. It's very innocent, I guess, childlike in its wonderment, which ain't something everyone can express so effortlessly, and Yuji Naka certainly can. Even when the faces go whoa and the audio mixing loses the plot, I can't help but smile. I mean, just look at this casino.
Pinball.
Exactly. Sonic gets it, Knights gets it. It's just a fun dumb time. Don't think about it too much. Plus, it's not like the game aged poorly or anything, as everything about its itsness was just as questionable in 1999 as it is now. Like, if you thought that these animations were the bee's knees at the time, then you don't know shit! But I can also understand why many folks would bounce off of this one too. Not everyone can not think. Sonic Adventure is only for the emptiest-brained galaxy brain game enjoyers, and it defo defies deeper analysis or criticism due to the prior mentioned falling apart at the seam stuff. You just gotta go loop. Sonic races through the green fields. The sun races through a blue sky filled with white clouds. The ways of his heart are much like the sun. Sonic runs and rests. The sun rises and sets. Don't give up on the sun. Don't make the sun laugh at you. And similarly, yet sadly, while I do actually like Naka's latest outing for a variety of complicated reasons I'll get into later, while seeing the reviews and general reaction to BALAN WONDERWORLD, or moreover, the lack thereof, and seeing even folks I knew harshly rejecting the now already delisted demo, I did low-key begin to wonder. Does Yuji Naka sorta like suck? Well, do we? I mean, you are just a chicken with an egg. And don't even get me started on you. At least I wasn't in Sonic 06.
Okay, listen here, you little bitch. You punk bitch. You do not fuck with this Sonic.
So I went back to Knights. I say back as if I ever played the full game, which I haven't. Only the Xmas version, which is more like a demo than anything, but I'm going to it, being that it is the Naka game most like BALAN. Not that the gameplay is even remotely similar in any capacity, but the two titulars look kinda similar, so fuck it. It's a strange but simple game anyway. You're basically stuck in a 2D circular loop within a 3D world, within which you can move up or down and back and forth, but not in and out of the screen unless that's where the camera goes. Inside of this loop, you collect balls that you bring to the ball depository station at the start of the loop to make it blow and open up another loop. So, much like Sonic, you just gotta go loop. A lot of that might seem like it could be sorta complex. Every button is nice. For real, A, B, C, they all do the dash and sweep through the cache. It's almost like a facade gameplay. Similar to those cool bits in Sonic games where you get ping-ponged, gun-nutted, spring-banged, and loop all about that's really all Nights is, and yet it works. Feeling the wind behind you as you fly past beautiful vistas set to Sega Sunny Beach beats just feels really nice. And unlike Sonic, it has a more chilled energy not too dissimilar from Outrun, a just cruisin' type beat. Also, it's really tellable that this is a game with a programmer at the helm of its development, as it's basically all but physics and perspective tricks. Like, shit handles super nicely even when you get spun around a bunch, and don't always know what's happening, and there's a elegance in its simplicity, like when randomly floors go bouncy, or boom, gameplay with a mirror, and whoosh, the wind takes you with, and then you get swung around. One of the bosses is also literally just a giant bouncy ball that you need to break through shit. It legit just has a really playful quality to it, with every little quirk, glitch, and gimmick found while programming turned into some type of gameplay or mechanic. Every button may be dash, but its environment is where the real meat is at. So, I don't know, man. I think Yuji Naka is actually pretty alright, as Nights is chock full of that same fun, childlike wonderment. Though, I suppose it was made by a big-ass team with big Sega money, and Balan Wonderworld was made by Arzest, a studio founded by key Artoon and Sega members. Now, Artoon here is very interesting, as they've made Vampire Rain, but also Blue Dragon, but also Blinks. Thing is that Arzest is a shadow company. Real Bullet Witch McMindjack shit. I use that term a lot, but should probably explain seeing as I made it up, but it essentially refers to a common practice in Japan where big publishers/studios shove development of weirdly major games off to tiny AA studios. They'll send over some designers or writers, sure, but won't do the bulk of the development themselves. Like Kavia, for instance, who've made various Resident Evil games despite those still carrying the Capcom branding first and foremost. Or Hexadrive, who did the RE7 Chris DLC, many late Konami games like Bomberman R and the 3DS port of MGS3, a few HD ports, and they co-developed The Third Birthday! Studios like these are more commonly credited nowadays, but back in the 6th and 7th console gens, they often were more tucked away in the credits rather than put front and center with the logos at the start. And even then, folks still tend to just not know, being culturally uncredited, if you will. Arzest may have made Yoshi's New Island, but people still think of that as a Nintendo game when it is a Arzest game. And so is Balan, a Arzest game directed by Yuji Naka, published by Square Enix. Final Fantasy VII, Kingdom Hearts 2 and Left Alive, Blue Dragon, Blinks and Vampire Rain, Sonic 2, Billy Hatcher and Nights into Dreams, it's all built up to this.
Fields of green, skies of blue, the Tower of Thames, constructed for you. And I say to myself, Balan Wonderworld. And I say to myself, Balan Wonderworld.
I'm Ben Shavibo, and that Balan hit so good I turned into a leftist.
Now, saying that a game isn't interesting is almost sort of a failure of the person saying it, I feel. Or maybe not a failure per se, but it defo says more about them than it does the game, because it just means that they weren't interested, therefore failing to really see what could be there to see had they actually given a fuck. And yet, that was the prevailing comment I saw surrounding Balan Wake. In my head, that instantly conflicted with the legacy I just went over, but I realized that shitty, obscure Japanese studios aren't necessarily interesting to most folks, and far as I could tell, that this interest mainly boiled down to how simple the game was. Standard platformer, feels ancient as fuck, every button is jump. You get 12 big, bold, beautiful, colorful worlds to explore with shiny dinkies one can pick up and things you can jump upon. And its big main gimmick is costumes that grant one various powers such as jump, projectile, and jump. Different jumps, of course, but still jump. Sometimes there's enemies, and many times there's little mini-gamey distractions, and never times there's NPCs to talk to, as everyone you approach disappears when you do. Either way, the basic feel of the jumps is honestly fine. This seemed like a big dick stickler to many, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it's no Mario or nothing, but compared to games like Crash Bandicoot or the similarly costumed Gexes or loads of 2D platformers, it's a very serviceable ass jump. Has a reliable distance to it, feels responsive, happens when you hit the button and shit. It's fine. And hey, it's not like this isn't a staple of Yuji Naka games either. Billy Hatcher is also a very simple game. You simply roll egg. Roll egg over enemies, roll egg down ramp, feed egg, fruit, jump with egg. Every button is egg. And just like Balan, it's also kinda awkward due to being a tad finicky to position here and there, and a slow camera turning arc, and also lives and one-hit kills don't mix. But much like Sonic Adventure and Knights, it comes together just through how it is in its concept and presentation and the execution thereof. Everything's just so happy and colorful, and the music is super cute, and the level design is very playful in a simple but neat way where you get egg blasted from egg cannons and egg roll down egg ramps and eggs kill egg mountains. So who really gives a fuck if it's hell to hit most enemies because of hardly being able to keep him in frame properly, and that most deaths feel unfair what with all the egg jank going around? I just want an egg, man.
Aha! Get a load of this!
Though, still, while I could be like, that's just like Balan, it would be partially disingenuous, as with Egg, Knight, and especially Sonic, it is often the kinetic movement that helps tying it all together, jank though it may often be. And while Biden Wonderworld is many things, fast or kinetic are not words I would use to describe it.
Balan fucking Wonderworld!
You see, the problem lies in how it builds upon that simple jump. As I've said, it's a one-button game, to the degree that even in the fucking menus you use all buttons to accept, meaning that you can't use any to back out, having instead to use an option for that. And I've never in all my years seen a game be that way before. It's fucking bizarre, and I kinda love it. But that also stands at the core of its main issue. For example, let's look at the costumes. Each one of them have one function, one sole function. So if you're using one that shoots projectiles, that's what every button does. If you're using one that turns you invisible, that's what every button does. If you have one that sucks, that's what every button does. And so, if you're busy sucking and a hole appears, you need to switch to the one that can actually jump to jump. Though, even then, not all jumps are created equal, and switching costumes takes just that bit too long enough for it to start wearing on you pretty quickly when you're either stuck trying to figure out a little puzzle, like with this one collectible in the first level I was trying to get that required a costume that I wouldn't even be in the possession of for another 6 fucking hours or so. Or if you're being forced to react to something quickly, which doesn't happen much, but does still happen, like with a hole appearing, or with enemies popping up out of nowhere, or with rooms that switch up on you, stuff like that. And if that wasn't enough mild tedium that would totally make a bitch boy game reviewer from a decade ago rage for comedic effect, you can also only carry 3 costumes at once. And you tend to find a fair few of those on your travels, and can also accidentally nudge costume pickups, which results in costumes that you need or like being booted from your arsenal, or being souped up with something dumb that'll never be useful, like the one that sucks. Because I mean, here's the thing too, if you can choose between launching scythes at a far-off collectible or cat flying walking to it, then why the fuck would you ever want to suck? Now, luckily, you can set up a loadout back at Closet, only Closet is a checkpoint, and checkpoints ain't always nearby. Checkpoints also require a slightly just too long enough amount of weightage before a closet pop, and costumes are also finite. Dying while wearing one destroys it, and pickups are level bound, resulting in needing to farm the ones that you like or need, which also takes up too many time, provided that you even remember where the fuck exactly you got it in the first place, as 12 worlds, all with 2 levels, do be a lot, after all. And yeah, it's kinda like as if in Mario Odyssey, instead of just chucking a hat at a nearby enemy placed with the level design in mind, you had to backtrack several levels, or wait several seconds, or waste potential minutes just to get the one ability you need to get by the obstacle, which I could very easily see being a full-on deal breaker for many. Me, though, I think I straight up just don't care, as I got patience for days, and I also just found some costumes that I really liked, i.e. the cat suit, which negates almost all platforming, and the homing attack suit, which takes all the risk of death out of the combat and turns you into Sonic Adventure Sonic. Both were pretty easily accessible and easy to stock up on too, thus taking most of that tedium out of the equation as well, and so there I was. Sequence breaking and skipping over hazards, flying and floating like a motherfucker, taking all the crazy drops and leaps of faith, and most of all, legit having loads of loads just exploring. Finding all the secrets and need additional costumes that work well with the levels that they belong in, like in this stage, with the changeable day and night and the costume that flies during the ladder, or the cool fish suit that swims upstream, or the floaty sheep suit for the windy level, or the ice skating one that makes the ice physics your bitch, or becoming a literal fucking train. There's defo a lot of consideration going on into the design of these in regards to how you will interact with the levels in fun and engaging ways that feel both natural and fittingly fantastical. Plus, the music and general presentation are fucking incredible. There's a reason I brought in Knights and Egg for this, as this game feels like a bit of a combination of both. The whimsy and shiny, spectacle-filled wonder of one, and the explorative, playful, hangoutable jaunt of the other. These worlds, these gorgeous, colorful, poppin' worlds, are defo a joy to be in. As is all of the shit surrounding them too. The cute little Tims and their dumb garbage, the fucking magical train, the cool, edgy, infinite ex-Balan ass villain who pops up, Balan himself going full-on anime on him from time to time, and the fact that each world is based around a person whose woes you fix by simply being you inside of their shit. There's just so much motion in each world too. So many little tidbits and characters and touches that feel like they mean something, which they often do regarding the person it's based upon, like the veg and corn in Farm Man, the flyboy inventor boy and his stage made out of bike parts and gears and floaty machines, and also the big giant flying whale signifying his drive, or the MC Escher-esque painter's level of creative blockage. I think it's generally sort of cringe to bring nostalgia into shit like this, but I ain't gonna lie, these worlds made me feel like how I did as a kid playing games like Spyro or Crash or Sonic Adventure or even fucking Gex for the first time. Just exploring nice, bright, pretty spaces, bumping around and going, taking in the sounds and sights of it all. Interacting with the levels as if little toy boxes, unlocking parts of them and opening up passageways, leaving your mark onto these places through your actions by way of simple progression. Like how in the first world you use its curvature to roll a ball into its place to open up a door, or how in the second one you fish your way through its water towers and then, just like Knights, boom, snow level, random bobsledding, hell yeah. There's also a haunted mansion where the geometry goes properly berserk, and I had mad fun in the MC Escher stage too. Flipping shit around and finding all kinds of ham-fistings to get to the statues, like look at how fucking close I got to cheesing this one. That's that shit. That's that Balan.
I'm Son Goku, and I will protect Balan.
Also, yeah, there's like a Chow Garden thing. It's really dumb, and I still don't know the point of it, because that's hidden away in a fucking book that my friend Kyle talks about in his video, which is the only video on the subject. But all of this does a lot to tie Balan Wonderworld together, same way it does for the other Nakas. It's cute, mostly charming, pretty easy to laugh at sometimes, and has a heaping heap of aesthetics fun facade, while also being disgustingly flawed at its core in many ways. Sonic Adventure falls apart at the seams, Knights has garbage-ass requirements for beating it, Egg has the lives and the iffy egg physics, and Balan has a cool costume idea that sadly DK64 barrels itself into being a bit shit. But Balding Wonderworld would have done big numbers in 1999, and I mean that in the best possible way. Yes, you can't take that as me saying that the game is horribly old-timey in its design as it essentially is, but it'll gain its own little dedicated cult following, if not just through nerdy kids playing it growing up, as it certainly has no shortage of heart and soul poured into it either. What can I say? Bitches want Balan. Regrettably, I do have to mark it down a fair few notches due to it not having any small text in logo on box in the way that Knights and Sonic do and did, though it does have this neat little ticket, which is cute, but also I
Fucking despise musicals!
actual full-blown hatred. Not even for any irrational reasons. I don't have a case or any real opinion, and it's just that specific style of singing and musical composition just... Look, I'd never punch a drywall, but if I ever reach that level of white person, it will be because someone made me watch a fucking musical. It actively spawns something really dark in the deepest, evilest crevices of my soul. When in Kingdom Hearts 3 that Frozen song happened, I fucking screamed at the TV in a rage and reached for the buttons to mute shit. Like, I'm not joking, even a little bit. I'm dead serious. I hate musicals. And Balan, for some bizarre, arcane, eldritch fucking reason, has some. In total, it amounts to about 13 minutes, so it's not too bad, but at the end of every single fucking stage, it does happen, and it did make me want to burn some stuff, stab my screen, fuck things up. Not my vibe. Though overall, I suppose I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have a pretty great time with Balan Wonderworld. Defo and niche appeal sort of game, but those cool enough to feel the vibe will fuck with it regardless.
We just like take some time to like frame by frame this wonderful piece of animation here. Like first he like goes from like neutral to like frowny, and it's like there you go. The mouth, the hell mouth begins to open. Like when you see this like frame by frame, you can sort of see how the animator may have thought that this looked okay. Well, actually I don't know about that. But there it goes. The tongue that they decided to give this character model for some eldritch reason. And there he is. I mean, it's sort of like, it sort of looks like, you know, what it should be like. And then you just see it and it's like, oh God, oh Jesus, no.